We're going to look at some practice exam questions for the unit on Muslim beliefs. So grab a pen and paper. The more active that you are, the more active the revision that you do, the better quality it is. So make sure you're ready to get involved and try out some of the questions yourself. Here are the example questions that we're going to look at. So we're going to look at a range of 5 and 4 mark questions. Make sure you're clear about the RS mantra. You might want to pause here and have a look through the questions, maybe even go away and do a bit of revision on the content that's related to some of these questions before you attempt some of them. The first one is a 5 marker. Remember that you need to use a source of wisdom or authority. So that's a quote either from the Quran or the Hadith. Have a read through this question, and I recommend that you pause the video here and have a go at converting the first bullet point using the RS mantra. So pause the video here and have a go yourself before I give you my version. Okay, this is how I would convert the first bullet point into the RS mantra. So it would go something like this. One reason why the 6 beliefs of Islam are important to Muslims is that they act as the foundations of belief. In the Hadith, it is reported that Muhammad said, "You must believe on Allah, His angels, His holy books, His messengers, in the last day and life after death." This shows that all Muslims are required to believe them. That's how I'll do the first bullet point. Compare that with what you've done, and then pause, and then add a second point, second reason using one of the other bullet points. So pause here and complete the question. Explain 2 reasons why the 5 roots of Usul ad-Din are important for Shia Muslims. You might want to pause the video here and go and revise the 5 roots, what they are. Remember the acronym TINAM will help you remember the Arabic terms for those. But if you can't remember what they are, pause and go and check and revise the content first. Then also have a go at converting the first bullet point yourself into the RS mantra. So pause the video here and do that first bullet point first. Okay, the way I would convert it, it would go like this. One reason why the 5 roots of Usul ad-Din are important for Shia Muslims is that they are the 5 principles of faith. This means they show a person what they must believe to be a Muslim. Again, compare what I've written to what you've written. Pause the video and have a go at completing a second reason. So the characteristics of Allah, so what Allah is like, things like his immanence or his transcendence, beliefs like Tawheed or his mercifulness. Make sure that you know quite a long list of characteristics of Allah. You'll obviously need quotes for this one. So we've got some quotes here. Pause the video and have a go at converting the first bullet point, and then I'll explain how I would do it. So let's look at the first bullet point. One way the characteristics of Allah are shown in the Quran is that Allah is described as a loving God. In the Quran it says, "We surely sent a messenger to every community." This shows he has therefore given humans everywhere all the guidance they need to worship him. Just compare that with what you've written, see if you need to tweak it at all, and then pause the video and complete your answer, adding a second point, a second reason, and what it means. Explain 2 things. The life of the Prophet Adam teaches Muslims. In this section, you should know a number of the prophets and should be able to explain a similar question for the Prophet Ibrahim, the Prophet Musa, perhaps Isa, and certainly the Prophet Muhammad. So we're just going to do Adam first. If you pause the video and have a go at the first bullet point, then we'll go through it together. So let's do the first bullet point. One thing the life of Prophet Adam teaches Muslims is that Muslims must obey Allah. For example, they must resist the temptation of shaitan. So compare that with what you've written. Pause the video and add a second thing that we can learn, or Muslims can learn, from the Prophet using the other 2 bullet points. So pause the video and complete your answer. So this is another general question, this time on holy books. You might be asked more specific questions about some of the holy books. So make sure you're aware of the number of the holy books and some important points about them. Pause the video and have a go at the first bullet points to convert that into the RS mantra, and then we'll go through it together. So the first bullet point. One Muslim belief about the purpose of the holy books is that the Quran was sent to teach the word of Allah. Surah 52 verse 22 says, "We have certainly made the Quran easy for remembrance." This means all Muslims should live by Allah's word. So check your own answer and check that you've structured it in the right way using the RS mantra. Then pause the video and complete the question with a second belief using the bullet points on the screen. A question about Muslim beliefs in angels. Remember the Arabic and Malaika, so make sure you'll be able to recognize that in case the exam board uses the Arabic rather than the English. That's important. Use Markat as a way of remembering the 6 key beliefs in Sunni Islam, Malaika being one of them. Pause the video and have a go at the first bullet point and converting that into the RS mantra. Let's do that together now. So the first bullet point would look something like this. One reason why angels are important in Islam is that they are messengers. In the Quran, it says that they are sent by Allah. This is important because Muslims believe they are in constant contact with humans. Okay, notice that I've just mentioned the Quran. I haven't given the exact surah. You don't necessarily need to remember all the surah numbers. So that's why I give you the starter in the Quran, it says, and you can use that instead. Pause the video here and have a go at using one of the other bullet points to complete the second reason. So 2 ways belief in Al-Qadar can affect the lives of Muslims. Remember, this is about predestination. So as I said before, sometimes the exam board will use the Arabic. So it's about Allah's plan and having each individual's life planned out for them, knowing in advance the destination, the predestination of where they will end up. So that's Al-Qadar. Go away and revise that if you don't remember some of the details. Pause the video and have a go at the first bullet point. So let's do it together. One way belief in Al-Qadar affects the lives of Muslims is that they can live without fear of the future. It says in the Hadith that the vow does not bring about for the son of Adam anything I have not decreed for him. This means Muslims know that all things are decided by Allah. So you can compare that with what you've written. Remember, decree means kind of like a command connected with a plan that Allah has. So according to Sunni Muslims, Allah has decreed or planned out the life of all people. And that's this idea of predestination. So again, if you're not sure what it means, go back and revise it. Pause the video and have a go at developing a second way that it affects the lives of Muslims using the bullet points on the screen. The final one we're going to look at is beliefs about life after death. Remember the Arabic for it, so it's akhira for Sunnis is how they refer to it, or mawad in Shia Islam. Okay, similar beliefs, they just structure the main beliefs in a different way. So pause the video and have a go at using the first bullet point and setting that out using the RS mantra. Let's have a look at it together. So one Muslim teaching about life after death shown in the Quran is that at the end of the world, all will be resurrected. In the Quran, it says, "You will respond with praise of him and think that you had not remained in the world except for a little." This shows that at the end of the world, those who are faithful to Allah will praise him. So again, just compare with how you've set that out. You should be getting used to the RS structure, the RS mantra structure. So it shouldn't be too difficult now to take one of the other bullet points and transform that into how you need to write that in the exam using the RS mantra. So pause, have a look. Now that you're familiar with the structure, try and maybe come up with your own questions, or have a look for other practice questions in your revision guide or elsewhere, and try and come up with some of your own answers as well, remembering to set it out in the way that we've been doing that in this video. Well done.